Welcome to Vancouver Business Network, where entrepreneurs learn, network, and grow. I am Roger Killen, the organizer. Our weekly workshop for entrepreneurs is brought to you by TELUS Business, the fastest and most reliable pure fiber broadband network in Metro Vancouver. Our speaker is Joseph P. Ghabi, an expert numerologist, master healer, and spiritual leader. As a psychosomatic therapist, and with his extensive knowledge of numerology, Joseph developed psychosomatic numerology, which is about the relationship between emotions and our mind and body, in conjunction with our chakras and the connection with diseases. Joseph's mission is to awaken people to discover their mastery within. Vancouver Business Network members and most welcome guests, I invite you now to put your hands together and give Joseph P. Ghabi a warm VBN welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. Maybe this is not the typical VBN networking event talk. We're not going to be talking so much about business from that sense, but we're going to talk about you as a person, because you are the business. It's not the business, it's you. So you are that business. You're operating yourself. You have to start to learn about you in order to go from that perspective. Now, just in raise of hand, how many people today do have a name and a date of birth? Raise your hand if you have that. So you are in the right place, and look to the one next to you and give him a hi. Glad to have that you have a name today. And the reason I'm saying that, the reason I'm saying that, because we all have a name, we all have a date of birth, but we have no idea what we do with them. So we tamper them all the time, and tampering with your name can change your life experience without knowing it's happening. Because it's very essential, because every vibration, everything that we all are, brings some different experience in our life. So your date of birth determines your destiny, your life path, your purpose on in this lifetime. Your name determines your life experiences. And that's where the difference between both sides. So when we're gonna go from here, I'm gonna give you a little bit of my background quickly. I was born as a Catholic in a Catholic family. This Catholic family was located in a Jewish neighborhood, and that Jewish neighborhood was located in a Muslim city. So I learned about all religions. I know them all. I memorized them. I have three different books I used to have next to me all the time. Now, growing into that, I started moving towards the spirituality, the spiritual side. I moved to New York. I became electrical engineer. I studied electrical engineering. I did a master in computer science, and today I'm studying my PhD in metaphysics. And that's where I'm taking my whole perspective from that. Now, what I learned from computer science, I learned programming and deprogramming, how we can program the subconscious and remove whatever has been stuck in our subconscious. What I learned from electrical engineering, I learned about energy, vibration, and frequency, and that's the universal laws. How the life works, how everything works. It has energy, vibration, and frequency, and that's what it is. Now, when I graduated from my master in computer science, 3 months into that, I quit. I said, that's not for me. So I left that. I moved from New York City to Montreal, and this is where I started my spiritual journey. And this is where everything started to open up from there. I traveled the world learning about different culture, different religions, different attitude of many different people. I traveled 41 countries. So I learned a lot of, and today my clients are in 53 countries. So most of my clients I do it over Zoom or online, because that's the platform today. So do you believe you have potentials? And that's where I need you to start looking. What is potential? Anybody can throw what is potential? Yes.
Okay, it's a skill that you have. Something that you're capable of doing.
That's a very good start. Yes, it is true. Anybody have anything, any other word they'd like to throw? Basically, potential is your gifts that you're not even paying attention. You have them because you do have gifts. We all have gifts. We all are unique, individual. And if I'm looking to all of you today, there's not two of you the same. And you can count it with 7.5 billion we have today. You don't find two the same, even twins. Why? Because twins, their names change. So they're not the same people. So they move. So full potential is attract recognition sometimes, is attracting confidence, money, freedom, whatever is your full potential that you would like to use, because this is some part of it come from your experience, but also some part of it is coming from your gift that you're not even paying attention you have. And we all are gifted. None of us is not gifted. And if you think today you have a problem, I tell you right now, you don't have a problem. You have a wrong perception of yourself. That's where's the problem. But as individual, none of you have any problem today, but we believe we do, but we're not having any problem. I just want you to really master that into your mind, because it is very essential to determining everything about life. Now, do you feel you have today a leak in your personal life, business life, or even both of them? And that's where you need to start defining where's the problem. If your problem today is business, really, is your problem business, or is it the problem personal life? Apply to your business. Because sometimes we cannot distinguish between one and the other, because we are the same. Now, the biggest problem for business people, especially solo entrepreneur, they choose a name for their business that is identical to their weaknesses. And they do it unconsciously. And then they start suffering. They start playing, they need to work harder. They need to get all the problems on a personal level, then they're going to experience them again in their business. While they could have had it corrected and make life simpler on them and easier by bringing their strengths into their name, not their weakness. And that's a huge difference if we start seeing it. Now, do you have any patterns in life that you keep following you all over the place, even if you moved countries? It doesn't matter where you move. These problems keep following you every place, because there is something into that. It didn't happen out of the blue like that. So there is a pattern that we keep following. Sometimes we have some people that have pattern in accidents. They always attract accidents. Some people have patterns in relationships. They always attract people that abuse them. Some people have patterns in many different things. Whatever it is, your pattern is, you need to get hold into it and really master to see what it is first before you're able to fix it. But that's where we need to start looking into the patterns. Now, life experiences, we have all life experiences when we are born. Disregard what nationality, what religion, what culture you come from. It's a given. We're all born into an environment that has parents in it, that has culture in it, and that has religion in it. Regardless which one you follow, it doesn't matter. It's going to bring your experience. There's no right or wrong in here. It's about experience. Regardless what you do, they're all the same. So your life experience started at younger age. We're going to go more details about that later on. That will bring your emotions and feelings. How you start feeling. I'm not feeling good about myself. I feel stupid. I feel this. I feel that. Whatever you want to throw into the words of negative stuff. And as a humanity, we strive about being after the negative thoughts. We don't go after the positive of our quality. We go always about the negative side. I'm not good at this. I'm not enough. Whatever it is, we strive about. So your life experience is going to get you into your emotions and feeling, and your feelings and emotions going to get you into your life limiting belief system or mindset. In business, we call it mostly mindset. So it's the same. So if I have a feeling that I don't trust in myself, then I create a limiting belief system. I'm not good enough. Really, based on what? We just assume that I'm not good enough because everybody thought about me that she doesn't trust herself or he doesn't trust himself. So I start building up perceptions. But is anybody of you was when they were born, there was a sticker on your forehead saying, I am this or I am that? None of you have any of that. So why we created those? We create them for something to follow the experience we came for and to have. So your life experience, your emotional and feelings is going to bring you your limiting belief system or mindset, and that's going to bring behaviors. How many here say, I procrastinate? Procrastination is a behavior. How many say, I'm workaholic? That's a behavior. How many say, whatever it is from limitation that become a behavior that it completely put us out of track, completely, regardless what culture, what religion, and what experience we went through. We all picked up habits. Now, when you have your behavior, that will determine now your result in your business, in your life, and everywhere. Has nothing to do with anything else, with just accumulating step by step process and into, having all different things. How many, you can name so many feelings negative, right? Anger, shame, guilt, apathy, whatever. There's so many good names and negative. But what we do with those good names, we keep looking at them as they are part of us instead of embracing those negative. There's nothing wrong with them, but we can make problems through them to ourselves. So we are the one who sabotage ourselves, and we're good at that. Now, if we go for the positive feelings, why we don't go for love, happiness, and all of the positive feelings that are available, but we don't use them most of the time because they're not important, because the negative feeling overpower us, because it makes us feel different. Now, limiting belief system or mindset, I'm not good enough. Can anybody call any other limiting belief system? I'm not good at math. How many times we heard that one? I'm not good at math because my fourth grade teacher told me I'm not good at math. And I believed her or him, doesn't matter. And how many things that I'm not good at business? How many repeated the same phrase? So these are limiting belief, but has nothing to do with anything. These are perception. Or the big one, I'm a failure. And I ask so many times, how many times you failed? And they tell me, never. So why you're a failure? Where this came from? We love to have those. So behavior, you have self-sabotage, workaholic, procrastination, and so on, all of these. These are behaviors that came from the limiting belief or the mindset that we kept believing about ourselves. How many are afraid today of using their powers or using their gifts? Many times because we don't believe we have gifts. For whatever notion we believed ourselves, we don't have it. But those are potentials. Your gifts are there. You came with a full instruction manual, but you never read it. And we all have it. And that's a choice that you have to think. How do we create mindset, behaviors, and limiting belief system? They have to come from somewhere, but we create them. Now, how the energy, vibration, and frequency interact with the law of attraction. Everybody heard of the law of attraction, but how it interferes with your energy. So if your energy is always, I'm not good at whatever it is, the law of attraction is going to bring you the experience that to prove you're right, yet you're not good at this. Change tomorrow your notion, I'm good, I'm successful, then the law of attraction is going to bring you an experience to show you, yes, you are successful. So that's a choice we have to start paying attention to. It's not like you're not good at something. You are good at something, but you're not giving it enough credit because you're emphasizing on the wrong side of it. And that's something we have to start paying attention to. Watch your way of thinking, your thought, and the way you speak, because that determines your life today. So you are today in the right place where you're supposed to be according to your thought, the way you think, and the way you speak. And that's very, very important. And the best of all, you can change anything you don't like about yourself because it's your free will. You can change whatever you don't want to keep. It's your choice. Nobody's forcing you, to do anything that you don't want. Now, are you a type of entrepreneur who appears to have everything from the outside that for everybody to see that everything is great, while on the inside you're frustrated and empty? And we have plenty of those because we're going for only the cosmetic on the outside, but on the inside, there's nothing. It's an empty vessel. To justify why we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing, why we're not doing the bigger picture of our life. We all came in here with complete things that we're supposed to do. There's not one person, what they're doing is supposed to be lesser than anybody else, and everything is equal. Then why we judge each other, or we judge ourselves even sometimes? And we find ourselves into different perspective. So this is where we need to start looking into the reason we keep finding ourselves missing into one aspect of our life, or we're not missing into another aspect, because there's something for us into that perspective. Now, I'm going to talk today about these top three reasons that keep entrepreneur playing small and afraid of being seen and heard. Do we have any of that today in this audience that they always play small and they keep never been heard or seen? I started that a long time ago myself. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just acknowledge it. When you acknowledge it, you own it. We all have to start something like that. And from numerology, I can tell a lot of those that if somebody has those or not, because it's in their name and their numbers. So it is already shown into their blueprint. So the top three reasons, are you ready to see what's the top three reasons that we're gonna, to help you to start understanding why, we are into one phase and we're not into another phase. The reason number three is a soul agreement. Now, what is a soul agreement? A soul agreement is we all have a part of us, a soul. Now, you want to call that a soul, you want to call that energy, you want to call that love, you want to call that God, you want to call that whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter. It's a title. You can call it whatever you want. There's nothing wrong with that. But your soul, because wants to come for certain experiences, then ask for other souls, can you assist me when I'm coming to this plane to help me with certain things that I need to learn about myself? So your first soul agreement that you signed is your parents. Let's stop complaining about them, because we came to them, they didn't come to us. So we chose our parents, we chose the culture we need to be born with, we chose our religion, we chose everything for a specific reason. For us to know, not anybody else. We chose the experiences that we want to, even including if somebody have a physical abuse, whatever it is, we chose the experiences for a reason. We're not gonna go into details here because I won't have the time to talk. I can speak about this subject for a whole day. So, but we're gonna take the summary of all of it. So you chose your parents and anyone who's supposed to give you your worst nightmare experience. Doesn't matter who that person is. You signed an agreement with them. Could be parents, could be adopted parents, could be stepmom, stepdad, or whoever it was, or teacher sometimes, it could be anything. Now, when you are young, do you think you're gonna learn anything about your experiences? Probably not. You're too young to understand about the feelings, about anything we create. And we have to start paying attention to all of that. Now, because your soul or the energy that you're working with is understand that you're going to be stuck with that. So they bring you another soul agreements with people we call relationship. And relationship are people, are friends, co-workers, business partners, clients, your kids, if you have kids, anything that comes as a secondary. And you, once you meet them, you're gonna feel that how many times you, for example, you heard somebody saying, I feel like I'm dating again my mom or my dad. You're not dating your mom or dad, you're dating the feeling that mom and dad left in you, but you're seeing it in another person. That means you haven't addressed yet mom and dad. You haven't got the experience from mom and dad for you to understand it. And this is why we have patterns when it comes to relationships. We keep attracting similar people over and over because we keep stuck with those old experiences, because we never address them. Now, if you don't address them today, you're going to take them with you to the next cycle, 9-year cycle. If you're still in the 2 9-year cycles that we work with, we work in the 9-year cycles, then you take them to 23, the third cycle. If you're still becoming very resistant to understand them, you take them to the fourth 9-year cycle, which means you wasted 36 years out of your life for nothing. When people come to me, sometimes they said, I've been working on myself for 30 years. I'd say, doing what? You wasted 30 years. Because there's nothing to address for what happens. We think we have an experience. We felt like even as fast, as big as we become an abuse. How tough is that on some people? It is tough. But that experience doesn't mean it have to handicap you all your life. If that experience happened at age of 5, 7, 10, whatever age, and now you are 40, who wasted more time? The experience was the problem, or the 30 years that you delayed it yourself in your life? We did the damage. We need to start paying attention to all of these things because they can be a big influencer on us. And that's very essential, very important to recognize that. So anytime you don't, this is the soul agreement. It's a bigger map usually, but I won't go with it here because of the lack of time. So I'm gonna keep it as that. I usually teach it in my 3-day event in details. So because those ones in the relationship agreements, you can stay all your life in that place. You can be millionaire even in that place, but you're still living purposeless. You're not living on what your soul wants you to do, because those are not the agreements that you're coming after. There's other people that you're supposed to meet, but you have to be ready to meet them. And that's something that we all need to start waking up to. Your business, for most of us, is a hideout. We're hiding behind it. It's not the business running your life. You are running your life. I want to bring that back. We're hiding behind the business. It's a label. It's a label. That's not your life. This is why people are still walking. They don't know where they're going. And they think their business is going to improve their life. And if I'm making lots of money, that's going to improve many things in my life. That's not true. Now, let's talk about reason number 2. Now, reason number 2 is about your feeling and emotions. Now, if your soul signed those agreements with those people that you came for, that means you're coming from a past life. Doesn't matter what it was, your past life, if you believe in past life or you don't believe in past life, but we still do the same thing because we chose the parents we're supposed to be born with. Because those parents are supposed to activate the past life you're coming to address. We like it or not, we believe it or not, doesn't matter. We're not doing a challenge about that. But if you want to have an open mind, this way you can start understanding why your life is the way it is today. If you have an open mind. We're not judging it about anything. We need to expand. We're here to grow. We're here to expand. We're here to enrich our life. I want you to think about it from those perspectives. Now, the first 9 years of your life, whatever you've been programmed in the first 9 in your life, is everything that you are today. This is where your feelings, your limiting belief system, and everything else happened. Everything. If you don't address those, you're still living according to those. If you start searching it properly within yourself. The 5 years old that's sitting in you, I don't know if you like to, I can take you to a small journey in small meditation. You can test it today if you feel like it, if you're open mind to it. I'll be happy to do it. It takes 5 minutes. But this is where the whole thing can take you. Everything that happened for 5 years old, 6 years old, 3 years old, 2 years old, whatever it is still following you till today if you never addressed it. Now, you probably, most of you are looking for, what the heck, I have this backpack behind me, right? You know, my God, what the heck was this backpack? So there's nothing into it. Now, I'd like you to invite you to all to stand up. If I'm gonna take my backpack, I'm gonna invite you to take your invisible backpack, because you all have a backpack. Just imagine you're taking your backpack from you and take it and put it on the floor. You don't need it. So this is where the backpack is, and you can sit after that. So let me show you what I have in my backpack. So I'm gonna put them first in here. You're gonna see in full gear what I mean by those backpack. All right. Now, for the audience in front of us, I can see it in a better way. Now, if we take the box on the bottom, this is an experience happened to you at 5 years old. So this is the trigger that happened in your life that really completely changed your life. That is called a trigger. This is what you are crying today about for lifetime if we never address that. Now, on top of that box, the second box that comes in, it's a box where your feeling and emotions are. We said before, we have the emotions and feelings after the life experience. This is your life experience. This is the emotions here. The third box are your limiting belief system or mindset, sitting on top of that. And the fourth box is basically your behaviors. So now if you don't know how to go on stage and you say, I'm not good enough to trust myself to be on stage because I'm afraid to be criticized, judged, or being laughed at, because there's a voice in my ear that's coming from here where mom told me when I was young, Joseph, who's going to listen to you? What that voice, damaging voice, did to me? Everything. So we think that I'm not good enough sitting here, or here, I'm not good enough. That's my problem. You go fix this one. You go to somebody, they fix you this one, and they're gone. But the problem's still here. That can create something else because you haven't solved the problem yet. And that's where everything accumulates and build up. And we all have that. We all came in from an experiences. Doesn't matter what they are. But for how long you want to play with that. And the moment you keep going with that, this is when diseases started. It's a wake-up call for everybody. What can shake up any human being is disease. That we start running to from therapist to therapist, help me, help me, help me, I need help, I need help. But we don't have to get to that level. We just have to go and clear up everything and move on. Because that's our birthright. And it's simple. It's not a lifetime. I can clear all of these boxes within 10 weeks. Because they don't exist. How many times we died in a lifetime? If those experiences happen to you at age of 5, where's the body of the 5 years old? Seriously, if you have the 5 years old, show it to me now. Where is Where is he or she? It's gone. This is your body today. So the 5 years old passed away, the 10 years old passed away, but what we have left from all of those is the energy. We just need to remove those energies, that's all. We're not changing the experience. We cannot change the experience. It doesn't change. It is what it is. Accept it and save your headache. As simple as that. As simple as that. It doesn't take much. It takes, I want to fix it. And that's how we can move beyond the experience. We start living the potential we have, because every box of those is a gift for you. But we're not seeing it because it's a gift. Because I don't think I am that. Every negative feeling that you gained is your strength. But we don't see that because we see it as negative. Every experience you have is a gift for you, is a potential for you. But what are we doing with those gifts? Nothing. We think, I'm not good enough. Is that your best answer? Really? We have more to accomplish from all of that. So I would just want you to think about it. It's not a rocket science. I'm not talking rocket science, even though I have a lot of scientific background. And don't worry about my background. It's too much complicated even for me. But life is simple. We complicate it. I want you to write down even that. We complicate life. Life is very simple. And then we start distracting ourselves behind, I want to get 5 clients. Well, release the feeling that you need to have 5 clients and work hard. Just invite them to show up to you. They will show up to you. It doesn't need to work hard for that. And you're going to tell me that you're not salespeople? You all are. But if this is not speaking, those throat is not working because somebody always keep telling you, shut up, shut up, shut up, you're not going to speak. So you're not going to sell. And if I'm doing your numerology chart, I'll find where in your chart it said you have a challenge with that in your life. The moment you become aware of it, you fix it, have 80% of it already fixed. Because awareness is a king or a queen, whatever you want to give it for awareness. But that's where the whole point. We think our life is difficult. It's not. We make it difficult. We feel it's difficult. We think it's difficult. But put your hand on your heart and your heart will have a different story for you. Your heart have a different story. But we always use this. We need to go back here. We need to go back here. Men need to open their heart because they've been locked for too long. Women, they need to remove some of the masculine side from them because they had it as a protection, because they went into tough lifetime. And today, since year 2000, we are into female vibration till 2999. So let's get over that because we are into a female vibration. So we like it or not. So men need to open their female side and women, they need to shut down a little bit of their protective male side because they got hurt before. It's not the time anymore to get hurt. It's all energy. Remember that, it's all energy. Energy is everything. So the reason number 1, we're going back to the energy, vibration, and frequency. Nikola Tesla, probably you heard of him. He said, if you want to find the secret of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Now, how it works, energy vibrate in different frequency. Now, is your energy vibrating in what frequency? Is it your frequency positive or negative? That makes a whole game. If you are into investment, if you think that investment is going to flop, then it will flop. Because you decided that way. Nobody forced it on you because you said, I'm not feeling good with it. then you're going to get the experience. It's not going to be good. Because the law of attraction works according to what the vibration you're sending. It's not working against you, it's working with you. If you're thinking negative, then it becomes negative. If you think you're going to have your site difficult to have it, bringing people to it, then it will be hard. It's how we think about things, we can make it as hard or as simple, as easy as we want it to be. If you're coming into a place and you say, oh my God, how I'm going to meet people, and I don't know anybody in the city, then your experience starts to become hard because you're going to have difficulty to do. If you say, I'm coming I'm moving for a new city and I'm going to have lots of people, lots of friends with total ease, then ease comes into your ear because your subconscious only listen to the last word you said. Doesn't care what you said, only listen to the last word. When I work in healing with somebody, the subconscious I treat it as a 6-year-old kid. So I need to speak language that 6-year-old kid can understand. It's not that complicated. And that's where we need to start becoming, Now we lived in a time for the last 300,000 years with third dimension. And third dimension was a lot about the label we labeled ourselves. I'm a business person, I'm an architect, I'm a doctor, I'm whatever it is. These are labels. That's not your destiny. That's not your purpose. These are labels. Now, I'm going to give you a small demonstration. I don't know if, they can see it. So this is, imagine my face into the body, all of it. This is my soul that I'm coming here. My soul said, you have 2 tasks to do in this lifetime. This task is a childhood, and that task is your purpose. Now, I didn't do anything with my childhood. I didn't address it. So I started going to my purpose, thinking that if I became a healer, that I'm healing everybody else is going to fix my life. Wrong. It won't. You have nothing to do with each other. Now, the moment, so we are sitting here on the purpose, we think we are living on purpose while we're not. But the moment you start working on yourself and take charge and take responsibility of your life, that hand will start to move, and that hand next to it will start to move, and your purpose is that way. It's not that way. It's that way, because then those two need to come together, and then you go for that purpose. And this is why we have lots of millionaires, lots of successful people, they're still living purposeless, because they haven't addressed this side. They got into becoming successful too fast. They disregarded that. They can buy anything, but what's the point of buying everything to be able to afford medication when you have to put yourself to sleep by having drugs or using alcohol to make yourself sleep? There's something wrong then. So success is never going to bring happiness. It's not being happy. It's not about what we have, what we owe, what we go. So the third dimension at the time when we were living in my time and everybody's time, it was very heavy. It was hard to let go of things. It was, we're all sitting in a box. Now, I invite everybody, get the hell out of the box you're boxing yourself in, because I promise you, at the end of this life, you're going to end up in a box. So now it's time to live. Think about it. We box ourselves into a box where we're supposed to be enjoying life now. We're coming for an adventure here. Not to sit in a box, saying I'm small, I'm not worth anything, I don't deserve to be this, I don't deserve to be that. Just chill out. We're going to end up in a box. Go live now. Enjoy life. Stop taking life too serious. Stop taking yourself too serious. Stop taking yourself too small. You cannot do nothing. You have everything. You just ask. If you want to ask your guides, if you want to ask your soul, if you want to ask your higher self, if you want to ask God, just ask anybody you feel asking. Doesn't matter who. Ask any power you think is bigger than your power, and you'll get the answer. Doesn't matter what label we're going to label it. Look, I grew up in the three religions. They're all talking the same language. I grew up in them. So not one is different talking, they're all the same. And there's nothing wrong with all of them. But they're all different interpretations. There's nothing wrong with that. But if me, I chose to say, I believe in the universe, then believe in the universe. And talk to whatever you believe. It's all good. There's nothing wrong with anything. But get out of the box. Because we're going to end up into the box. Now, happiness in the third dimension, at that time, we always think that money, material possessions, and physical attributes, that's what makes us happy. Really? How many have everything and they're still not happy? There's plenty of those. There are plenty of those. And we need to start looking into life from a totally different perspective. Now, what is your energy, frequency, and vibration? What are these? Where they can come from? Where I can touch them into my own physical life? How can I understand me? Who am I? And that's where we're going to go into your name and date of birth. That's why you have a name and a date of birth to answer you all your questions about life. Now, for many, they think numerology is a voodoo thing, but numerology is about your life. But they make it into the press and the whole thing to make it because they don't want anybody to be understanding life. That's part of a program to keep everybody playing small, content. But numerology is going more into the mainstream now than it used to be. But you need to start educating your name. So what is your date of birth? Put your name, your month, day of birth, and year, and just start adding them up. So all numbers add together. So just put it onto a piece of paper. If your birthday falls into November 11 or October 10, you need to add it as 11 or 10, because these are master numbers. Now, if your day of birth fall into 10, 11, 20, 22, or 30, just add them as they are, because they are master numbers too. When you add them all, you're gonna have 3 or 5 numbers at the end, and that will determine the sum of your blueprint destiny. Why I call it blueprint? Because it is a blueprint. It's helping you to walk all your life, understanding all your life from that perspective. Now, my blueprint destiny, for example, is May 29th, 1961. If I add all the numbers, my destiny is 33, which is equal to 6. Now, the first 3 of your destiny for yourself, that's your childhood. The second 3 is growing up, and destiny is a 6. Now, because of 33, I have 2 destinies, and some of you might have that too. So what is yours? Calculate your date of birth by adding all the numbers and follow it up until you get to 1 digit at the end. That's all it takes. So what is your date of birth? And that will help you to understand what date of birth we're talking about. And that's very essential. Now, yes?
I'm sorry, I don't understand. What's your 6 again?
Which one? The 6 is a destiny.
Oh, that's automatic. That's forever.
If you add, it depends on your numbers. Depends on your date of birth. It's not about this is my example for me.
Yeah.
But what is the example? You put your own date of birth.
Yeah.
Don't copy mine.
Oh, we just
She's
didn't
asking
know
where
what
did the
the
6
If your
come from?
total is like say.
It's a 3 plus 3.
It would be 9.
No, 3 plus 3 is equal 6.
If your total is like say 14, you'd be 5.
Oh, okay.
Just add the last 2 numbers together, they become 1 digit.
Mhm.
You keep adding them till you have 1 digit. Now, we're not gonna go into the details of that. And for people online, I'm gonna have a link. You can have 30 minutes. I can explain you a little bit of the numbers, what they have for the everybody online. So we're gonna include that number for them later on. So, and they can see it. So, but that's where your destiny is. What is, this one will give you a guideline where I'm supposed to be going. Am I in the right career for me even? Sometimes you're not. How many people we label them as ADD, ADHD, AD, whatever they call it, and They're not, because that we're trying to feed them mathematics, but they are into art. As simple as that. Then we're rewiring their brain, but they're not supposed to be there. And we label them ADD because they're not fitting with the model we try to put for them. And it's very essential, you know. So how familiar does this sound for you? When you start reaching a plateau, you're not moving any further, you're not going, you're not coming back. How much feeling stuck, how much playing small is to you, and how much being sick and tired of being sick and tired. When you're gonna get to that level, or having the fear of being seen, why are you allowing those to take place in your life where they're not supposed to be there for you? And we're all doing it because it's easy. It's easy to complain than fix something. We're not even. Because most of us think we are something, but we're not that something. If I have a child in front of me and I keep telling them, you're sick, you're sick, you're sick, they're gonna believe that they're sick. Program them, it takes 21 days. Listen to the news, they've been programming you all your life to whatever they want you to believe. It takes 21 days, and you open station to station, they're all repeating the same sentence. There's a programming behind it. It didn't happen on its own like that. So we need to start looking into the bigger picture. Stop looking at yourself where you are, because you're not that person. You are bigger than that. And that's a birthright to everybody. And you know what's your destiny for all of us in here? It's a very simple destiny. Okay, I have, for me, like the 6, yes. I have the 33, yes. But what is the destiny for all of us? Is to be happy, joyful, and fulfilled. How hard is that for many people? You can be happy, joyful in 1, 2, or 3 areas in your life, but you have one area that you feel miserable. That means you're not fulfilled yet. And if you don't have your birthright to be happy, joyful, and fulfilled, you haven't gained anything yet. And it doesn't matter what you do in the label you want to create for yourself. It doesn't matter. You can be this or you can be that. But you need to have the principal birthright to be happy, joyful, and fulfilled. And that's a birthright. And many of us, we don't even have one of them. Why is that? Why we pretending doesn't mean everybody's smiling, they're happy. Remember that. There's a lot of fake mask. We always have to put a mask sometimes. You know, you need to learn to be happy, joyful, and fulfilled. And it doesn't matter what you do. As long as you're happy, joyful, and fulfilled, and stop complaining about your life. Because I'll promise you one thing, you can be miserable or you can be happy. You're gonna be using the same amount of energy. So you better choose wisely. Doesn't matter which one you use. You can say, I'm good or I'm bad, you're still using the exact same amount of energy. So use the thing that makes you being happy, joyful, and fulfilled. Simplify your life. Stop making it complex, because it can be simplified. Here are some people that works with me in the past. Some of you might know Fialin Crandall. She spoke a few times here in Vancouver. And when I met Fialin, it's okay to speak about that because she gave me a testimonial that's on my website. And when I worked with her, she called herself at that time Fia Crandall. And I asked her, why you're not using Lynn? She said, I don't know, I never used it since grade 4. I said, but now you go one step further, then you go 2 steps backwards. And she said, yeah, that's the story of my life. I said, no, that's the self-sabotage. So what she did, I told her to use Fialin Crandall, complete name. She started using it. After 4 months, she sent me a testimonial. In 4 months, I made more money than I made the whole last year. And that's all it took. So Peggy McGold, some of you might know, she's the one who created the #1 best-selling, who brought Bob Proctor and all these big names into becoming number ones 10, 20 years ago. And before she became all of that, she had a consultation also with me, and I explained her blueprint where she's supposed to be at that time. And Dana Smithers, some of you might be seeing her on, she's a law of attraction coach and certified emotional code practitioner. She worked with me into the healing, cutting the agreements. It's a 10-week program online into cutting all the agreements. Also, she has some experience with it. And I have Deb English. She's from Victoria. She worked with the healing work, also with cutting the agreements. And she used to be working in the federal government. Now she started opening her own center in Victoria. She quit the federal government to start doing what she enjoyed loving doing from the first place. So this is where it is. So what numerology can make into your life, brings into your life, one, aspect. You can walk all your life in the dark, or you can walk with the light on. That's your choice. That's your choice, as simple as that. So you can do either way. So my mission into this today is connecting masters with their sole purpose and awaken them to their full potentials. Now, how I define masters? Masters are all souls who are into with a vision, with a higher calling to impact more people into this humanity. So they're coming with a bigger task to do more things. And many of those old souls are playing small today, because usually also they have tougher experiences when they come into this lifetime, because an old soul doesn't come here every night. It takes thousands of years sometimes for some of them to show up. So if you feel you are a master, then let's talk, connect with me, and in many different ways. This is where you can get to me. I'm also best-selling author, so my book went 4 times on its own as best-selling on its own for best-selling author. And the title of my book is The Blueprint of Your Soul. And this is where the title of my book. You can catch me at soulvision.org. This is a temporary website, but I'm building my new website. And if you are online, you can connect for a 30 minutes discovery session with me. And you can get it from the YouTube that will be posted there. So you can have that 30 minutes. You can talk about your date of birth quickly and give you some feedback. And even for the people who are in this room, I'm inviting you to give you that 30 minutes after you calculated your date of birth, and I'll be happy to give you some feedback about that. So if there is any questions, I'll be happy to take any questions you have.
You had us add up for birthdays. Where does that go?
This is where I'm giving you 30 minutes to connect with me if you would like to know more about it. You're going to get the form later for the one in here. They're going to get the form, and you can connect with me. Yes?
You said that some business owners may blame their business after their weakness. Can you give an example of that?
Yes. If I'm missing in my name... So the question is how some businesses are concentrate on the weakness of the owner of that business. Like if in your name you have a missing 4 or 5, and then we see into your name of your business you're missing 4 and 5 at the same time. So that's a weakness in you. You're bringing it back to the business. So that can be corrected by understanding, to bring it to somebody who understands how to bring you more alignment with your strengths instead of your weakness. So any number you miss in your name become an experience for you. So if you brought that experience to the business, that business becomes an experience with that number too. So every letter in your business, it has a meaning. It has a vibration. And if you have certain vibration, you don't have them in your name of the business, then it's going to become an experience for you and the business. That's the way it works. Yes?
You said the name affects the person. So how about those people who have different alias, other name?
Different what?
Alias, other name than birthday.
Okay. Now, for people who have aliases under their name, like nicknames, you mean? Okay, so if for the question is about people who have nicknames, I don't recommend anybody using a nickname if it's gonna hurt you. If it's not hurting you, it's fine. But if it's hurting you, they're gonna create an experience to you. And if somebody is confused today, I will ask you the first question: how many names do you use normally? And many people, you find them, they're using one, two, more than one name. Anytime you use more than one name, you're gonna be bringing confusion to yourself. It's very important to sit down and center into one name, not to mix nickname one day. It's why the most problems is in the world, you find it in Hollywood, because they have many names. And sometimes the breakup in Hollywood, it happened during when they're shooting a movie, because the actor is embodied everything from that character. They go home, they start speaking from that character, and their spouse couldn't understand them. Then the communications, they're not meeting anymore. Then they have a fight. And this is when divorce starts to happen, because the fights start to accumulate. And this is because of the name change. So we have to watch the energy of the names, because the energy, it will make a big difference. If I'm doing marriage counseling, I will look into both names and to see if they're communicating properly, because that can solve the whole problem. Because if I speak Chinese and my partner speaks English, we're not understanding each other. We're crossing each other. We're only hearing voices, but we're not understanding what we're meaning by all of these noises. Make sense? Any other question?
I guess I have one more. With the names, a lot of times, especially nowadays, you have a lot of children named after just completely, brands, verbs, and stuff like that. How would that relate to?
Look, technically for me, if for people who are named according to whatever, if it was a name of an actor, for example, or whatever it is, right? Is that what you're in your question?
Well, not so much like more like, say, Kim Kardashian has a kid named North.
Yes. Okay. All right. Kim Kardashian. Okay, the stars with their weird names sometimes are weird. So we're not gonna dispute that. So exactly your question. Now, normally forget the Hollywood people. I want you to talk about the normal people. Most people think, and if you ask any mother how you named this kid, many times they've seen it in a dream, they have an inspiration, they had whatever story behind that name to show up. Now, the stars is becoming funk to have a different, that I name them that weird name or that weird name. But technically, sometimes they're not doing it for the benefit of the kids. Instead of using the intuition, what the soul needs to be named. Now, if that weird name came from an intuitive part of them, then there's nothing wrong. But if they're naming it according to what's fashionable today, my kids, I didn't pick their names. I asked their mother to pick whatever names. I did their chart after they were been registered. Because I don't want to design my kid. I want them to come for their experience, not what I want them to be. I could have designed it, but I have weird kids. So thank you everybody for being here today, and thank you, Rogers, and hope everybody gets something out of that.
Well, thank you, Joseph P. Ghabi. I'm
Thank
sure
you.
there's significance to the P.
Oh, definitely. There's everything. There's a significance to it.
And Tellus, thank you for making this production possible. Say thank you to Tellus.
Thank you, Tellus.
Audience, say thank you to Tellus. Great.
Thank you.